To ETV Extra here on the ETV Sports Net, live from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. If you join us each Wednesday during the show, you can have the buffet and the drink, all for just $5. Hey, this week's ETVU fan vote on the ETV Facebook page was for you, the fans, to vote on the best performance by 3 Tiger athletes. You had a chance to choose between Amanda Rucker from the Tiger basketball team and Tiger basketball members Jamil Samuel and Andre Gray. In a moment, we'll reveal how that fan poll ended up. Of course, it's brought to you by Team Higher Purpose of Advocare, Matt and Courtney Workman. We're joined now by the head coach of the Lady Tigers, Dustin Howard. I've been saying today is our Christmas show, because here's the first question I want to ask you. What are you getting me for Christmas?
Well, first, before I decide what I'm getting you for Christmas, I have to go check my list to see if you've been naughty or nice.
Don't go check that list, Coach Howard. No, what I really want to ask seriously is your favorite Christmas memory, whether it's with your wife or your family or way back when you were just a little kid.
Well, my favorite Christmas memory would have to be my honeymoon. I don't know if you know this. I'm a fourth-generation Howard man that got married on Christmas Eve. So my father and mother were married on Christmas Eve. My grandfather and grandmother were married on Christmas Eve, as well as my great-grandfather and grandmother were married on Christmas Eve. So in 2010, I got married on Christmas Eve, and on the 25th, the day of Christmas, we were on a plane to Boston and spent 7 days in Boston. So that was my best Christmas memory.
That's a great memory. I didn't know that about
you,
Coach Howard.
That's an easy answer.
It's an easy answer,
yes.
But boy, you got to buy an anniversary gift and Christmas gifts all at the same time.
And you see, I think this points back to 100 years ago almost. The wisdom of the Howard man is that, you know, if you combine the two, you just get it all done at one time and you're done with it.
I like that philosophy. Well, Coach Dustin Howard of the ETV Lady Tigers is here with us. Of course, you hadn't had a game since that last game last week at Ornelas when you played LeTourneau University. You've had a chance to have some time off, but what did you do in particular? Some of your players did. I know you gave them the weekend off, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a big thing. You know, we went out to California and won 2 games out there, and you know, it was a big, long trip. And, you know, we came back and had to play a quick turnaround game against LeTourneau. We had some players under the weather, and, you know, after a big, long stretch of all the travel and all the playing, we retired. So we took a 3-day weekend, and, you know, Coach Marzetta Shepard and I, we both went our separate directions and got to see several basketball games, recruiting and stuff. Good to catch up on that. And, you know, we all got to catch up on a little bit of family time, and actually went out to Natchitoches on Saturday night and seen the Christmas lights out there.
I know in talking to some of your players that they were really looking forward to having a weekend off because they've been doing basketball for quite some time.
Yeah, we've been going since October the 15th. You know, and most weeks we only get the one NCAA mandated day off because we've got to, you know, so much to prepare for and so little time. So, yeah, they were definitely enjoyed the 3 days off. They needed the rest, and we came back and have been invigorated and have had a good week of practice so far.
So, in that game against LeTourneau, in which you lost by a final score of 74-55, how long do you look at that game and say, we got to throw it out and start looking to the next game?
Well, you know, we watched the video and we wrote down what we saw that we can improve on. We showed it to the team 2 days in a row, first half and the second half, and then we throw it out of our memory. It's the good thing about college basketball is nobody expects to go through the conference race undefeated. There are going to be some, you know, any given night that, you know, any teams can beat each other. So nobody's going to, you know, go through this thing undefeated. I think Louisiana College is the only undefeated team left, and even 9th ranked in the nation, Tyler's already got a conference loss. So, you know, we throw it away. We try to improve on the things that we need to improve on, and we move on to the next one.
So coming up this week, you have a game Thursday night at home. You'll be hosting the University of the Ozarks. Let's talk about that game. They come into Ornelas Stadium, Ornelas Gymnasium, I should say. 1-2 in conference play, 4-3 in the year. What kind of team are you expecting from them as they come to Ornelas?
Ozarks is always fun to play because you know, Coach Ramsey always has those kids playing basketball the right way and the fun way. They're very fundamental. They're very skilled. They play team basketball. They play together. So win or lose, it's always fun competing against those guys. And we think we have a pretty good matchup with them. You know, we swept them last year and the year before, so I'm sure they're ready to come down to Marshall and try to get a win out of us. And it's a conference game, so it's always important. But, you know, they have a solid point guard. They have a solid perimeter play, and their leading scorer is their post player that's kind of versatile. She can play inside and out. So, you know, it's a good matchup for us, and it's going to be a good test to see where we're at.
Of course, the University of Ozarks didn't on their schedule. They played last Saturday, and they won over Hardin-Simmons University, 58-53. Madison Schuer had 14 points for them. Have you been able to see that tape yet of that ball game and kind of get prepared for this week?
Yeah. We broke down that tape to see what went on, and there were some injuries on the Hardin-Simmons side that of their people that's been scoring for them. So it's hard to say. And it's always hard to compare, scores between teams because everybody's so different. But we've been able to look at some things that they do on that film and translate it to things that we're good at and things that we're not so good at, and so that we can formulate a game plan.
Of course, this Thursday night you host the University of Ozarks. Talk about how important the fans play in a basketball game, especially when you play at home. I mean, I hear coaches say when we play at home, we got the edge, which should happen, correct?
Correct.
So how much involvement do you hear the fans where you're coaching?
Well, it's very important. A lot of times I don't hear the fans, and I always hear about it from our players afterwards and at big times of games. And when we go back and look at the film, we see the fans, and we can kind of, from our film angle, kind of see the overshadow of our student section and see how rowdy they were. But we always have a great turnout. We have players and recruits that come watch games at Ornelas, and they go, wow, we've been to 3 other places in the conference, and they don't have near the support that you guys do. And that's the truth. Our students really come out, and our community really comes out and supports us, and it's fun to play. I know our games start a little early on Thursday, so it's usually the second half before the capacity of our crowds there. But hey, that second half when we need it the most, it's really easy to feel the emotion and the excitement in the gym to bring it home.
Tip-off against the University of Ozarks on Thursday is 5:30 in the afternoon. And now, of course, at the NCAA division level, we got student athletes, and we got finals next week. How do you work practice in when a player says, "Coach, I got to study"?
Well, that especially in any athletics as well as Division III, especially Division III, it's always academics first. It's very, very rare that we have a player from any one of our programs to go on and play a sport professionally. And, we definitely encourage that. But, we all as coaches on campus encourage academics first because that's what's going to be valuable to these student athletes for the rest of their lives, seeking, what they want to do with their life and, be educated at ETBU. And, that's an easy question to answer. We always work around our players' finals, and we always make practice a little lighter when we can and kind of just keep a good eye out for when they're mentally done, we need to let them go.
I'm kind of curious. I played a bit of basketball in junior high, and our practices were drills, shoot, go home. I kind of wonder, what does a college basketball practice look like? What do you work on during those times?
Well, it changes depending on, at what point of the week. Our preseason practices were longer and more drill intensive in learning and building what we're going to do. As the week goes on before we play a game. So Monday's practice after a 3-day work week is going to be a lot more intense and more physical than a practice today, which is the day before a game. So it changes a lot. But at this point of the season, we pick out a few things that we want to improve that day, and we'll drill those things, and then we'll put them in a live game-like situation, whether it be a drill or an actual scrimmage within our practice. So we try to use the part to whole thing. Here, let's show them the small thing that we need to work on. Let's put it in a drill in a game like, and then let's go apply it in an actual game situation.
Just kind of curious what happened. Never actually competed in a college basketball game, but like to know what you do to get ready to each game. Now, I know each one of your players are important to you, but as you so far into the season, 3-2 on the year, what are some of the players on your roster that you went, hey, when I recruited them, I knew they'd be able to do this. I knew they were going to be good at this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing you look at the first recruiting class is the juniors this year, and that's April Leonard and Morgan Garrett. That's my first recruiting class, Morgan Garrett can shoot the basketball. We know that's what she brings to the table. She hadn't shot it well early, but we have confidence that she's gonna shoot it well soon and help us win some basketball games. And when April's at the point guard spot, you don't have to worry about a press or worry about getting the ball up the court. She's got a lot of energy, and that's what we knew she could do. April can score the basketball from the point guard spot. She can get some steals and turn some momentum, but those two players, that's what they do really well. We know Sade Morrell was a hard-nosed player, and we went out to California. She got 6 offensive rebounds that turned into 6 buckets immediately in the first half against Occidental, and it was really huge to go ahead and put that game away early. And you know, we got a couple freshmen, Taylor, who's here today with us, and Malaysia, who we, you know, got in late recruiting on. But, you know, the things that they do well, you know, Taylor's long, tall, can run the floor, you know, got a really soft touch for a post player, plays defense, rebounds. She really helps us, you know, and I think she's going to continue to be a better player as her career goes on. In Malaysia, man, can she change a game defensively. You know, there's been several times this year we're setting up on defense, and we're kind of getting our defense set up, and all of a sudden, boom, Malaysia's already got the ball going the other way, and you're like, wow, you know.
How'd that happen?
How'd that happen? Yeah, how'd that happen? I didn't even see it, but, you know, and she's got a lot of things to work on offensively and some other things, but she's coming along nicely as well. Kind of reminds me of my assistant coach, Marzetta Shepard. Every once in a while, at least twice a game, Marzetta would go get a layup, and you're like, wow, how'd that even happen? She just took the ball, great individual effort, but you know, and Amanda Rucker, who could say they saw this coming this year. You know, even though I didn't recruit Amanda, I've been her coach since right after her freshman year, and I've seen her improve offensively. You know, she can shoot the three now. She can go off the dribble a lot better now, and she's always had a great mid-range game. She defends, she rebounds, and, you know, she's just, you know, been phenomenal for us. I think she's the second leading scorer in conference right now.
Well, I can see why. She's averaging 18.8 points per game,
yeah,
so that's got to be right toward the top.
That
top
is
of the
right.
conference
That
league.
is. I think there's only one player ahead of her, and the one player ahead of her is averaging like 25, which is ridiculous for this time of year. That's a lot of scoring. And Amber Carver, you know, we recruited her after she actually recruited us. You know, she contacted us and, you know, had some problems at her previous school and wanted to come here. And she was a good friend of Amanda Rucker's and played.
Back in junior high together.
Yeah, back in junior high. They played on a select team, and so they've been passing it to each other for a long time. And she called, and I still remember the day that Amanda came in the office like, Coach, you remember that girl that we scrimmaged against that, you know, was 6'6"? And I was like, yeah, I remember her. Well, she's not even in school anymore, and she wants to come finish her career here. And she wants to know if she can call you. And I was like, well, yes. Tell her to call now.
But here's my email and everything else.
Yeah, here's my email, my card, my social security number. Tell her to call. And I know, as y'all know, she was injured in the LeTourneau game, and I'm not sure what her status is for Thursday. So all I can say is, you know, come out and be surprised whether she plays or not. But you know, the things that she does changes the way that we play. You know, you can throw it to her down in the post, and it's not a black hole. She got a good shot, she'll take it, and she's shooting 60% from the field. And if she doesn't, she's a great passer, and it kind of just makes our whole team better.
Yeah, you mentioned Amber Carver hasn't been able to have her services because she's out with an injury. But before she went out with an injury, she was averaging 15.5 points per game and just very dominant down at the low post position because of her height and her ability to – I like that she's got very good fundamentals, taking it off the glass when she turns and faces the bucket.
Yeah, she can really score it. I mean, you know, and she's a great decision maker and a great passer. I've been telling people that. You know, the obvious things, that she's really tall, you know, that she can turn around and she's got really good touch. She can shoot the mid-range shot. But I've been telling people that asked me about her since the beginning that the best thing about her is the way she passes the ball. And the way she passes the ball, you know, she'll find where they're double teaming from, because she's going to get double and triple teamed. And sometimes she'll turn and score it anyway. But it's a lot easier to catch and shoot a three-pointer with nobody around you. You know, I call it a horse shot because you've got time to sit there and check the wind and everything. And you know, we shoot a very high percentage when you've got all day to shoot it. But she'll find the open man, and she'll score a lot of them as well. I mean, she's averaging 15 a game, and you know, if she was a selfish player, that could easily be 25 a game. But she's not. She wants to win, and like a lot of kids on our team. So you know, we'll be happy to get her back when we do get her back.
Visiting with head coach of the Lady Tigers, Dustin Howard. Tigers have a game Thursday at Ornelas, 5:30 tip against the University of Ozarks. It's American Southwest Conference game, their second of the year. And then Saturday, you got a non-conference game against Rusk College. With that game kind of falling in the middle here before the Christmas break, how do you use that game to get better?
Well, you know, we have to get used to playing on a Thursday and a Saturday in our conference, and that's tough. That's a quick turnaround. I know I heard the SCAC plays on a Friday, Saturday, which is a one-day turnaround, and that's really tough. And as the season is going along, you know, we played a Friday, Saturday up in California, and then took 2 days off and plays a Tuesday, and so it's really good that we can play a Thursday, Saturday, and both of them aren't conference games. So, but you know, every game is important, and we'll treat every one of them just as so. So it's really good, and you know they're a Division III team, and they're a lot like some of the teams in our conference. They've got a good inside game. They've got some pretty good guard play, and so there'll be a good test, you know, outside of non-conference. I think this is our last game outside of non-conference, but it'll be another good test to see how we respond to a Thursday, Saturday game swing.
But luckily, you get some days off because your next conference game after Thursday is a week from Friday when you host University of Texas at Tyler. So you got a little bit of chance to get some rest there.
Yeah, it's good that the way it fell. You know, we can get finished with finals and stuff like that, and we have a whole solid week to prepare for one of the best teams in our conference. And you know, it would be nice to get a couple wins this weekend and take some momentum into that game. UT Tyler is ranked in the top 10 in the nation. I think Dallas beat them at their place on Saturday, and so I'm sure that they're ready to get back into it. But they got a lot of new faces and a lot of talent. Coach Baker does a great job with them out there. They're defending conference champion, and you know we're gonna think about Ozarks first, then we'll think about Russ. But that's definitely a game that we circled and a challenge that we look forward to.
As a coach in that Russ College game being a non-conference, do you try in the back of your mind try to get more players in the game to get some minutes?
Well, and that would be nice because I tell our kids all the time that we're formulating a rotation and to be ready when it's your chance, and it would be nice to play well in that game so that we could get some other players some chance. We got some people in the game in California, and a couple of them performed well and earned some more chances. So it would be nice in any game to maybe get a little lead or so, and that way we can let some other people that are hungry to get in have a chance to get some game experience. It's very valuable.
Well, Coach Howard, thank you for your time today on the Christmas edition of ETBU Extra. And I didn't know that you got married on Christmas Eve.
Did I see David Weaver a while ago?
Yes, you did.
I thought I saw David Weaver.
Former Sports Information Director at ETBU, in the crowd today, along with some folks from the admissions office at ETBU. See Barbara Taylor and Crystal Williams here enjoying the show today. As saw some ETBU Tiger baseball coaches walk in as well. And there's Coach Jared Hood on the far side over there, so glad to have them in. And see Roger Perkins and his wife. He is the pastor at Memorial Baptist Church here in Marshall, Texas. Glad to have them here today eating lunch with us here at CC's Pizza, where for just $5 you get a drink and the pizza. Of course, it's all you can eat buffet. And Coach, I pulled you in right when you walked in the door, so now you get to eat lunch.
Hey, I noticed that these baseball coaches, they rarely miss a Wednesday at CC's.
That's right. They must like pizza a lot.
They
I
must
wonder
do.
if they eat a lot of pizza on the road at CC's.
I don't know, but we do support our hometown CC's.
That's
for
right,
certain.
we do. Well, Coach Howard, best to the Tigers tomorrow night at Arnellis, 5:30 against the University of Ozarks. Looking forward to calling the game on the ETV Sports Net.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
All right. Coach Howard has been our guest on the first segment here on the ETV Extra, the Christmas show. Coming up next, we're going to visit with one of his players, Taylor Alexander, a freshman from Rowlett, Texas. You're listening to the ETBU Extra show live from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. We'll be back with more from CC's in just a moment.